Dan the Wheelman here, coming to you from the Swabian Alps, just outside of Stuttgart, Germany. And my very special guest today is this. This is the 2024 Porsche 718 Boxster Spyder RS. Very cool looking, even finished in this crazy pink color. Anyway, so differences between this and the standard Spyder include special wheels, different aero package through here. You've got some NACA ducts on the hood as well. Pretty cool stuff. We're going to be taking this for a drive on some spectacular roads through here, and I think it's going to be a whole heck of a lot of fun. I've got 4 liters of naturally aspirated 6-cylinder power here at my disposal, a dual clutch transmission, and rear wheel drive. So let's have some fun. Okay, so I hope you can hear me. The exhaust on this RS Spyder is loud. It can be made louder with the press of a button, believe it or not, although it's already so loud that at high revs doesn't make that much of a difference. Yeah, so Boxster RS Spyder, it has 493 horsepower and 332 pound-feet of torque, which is up on the power from a standard Boxster Spyder, which is one of the best cars I've ever driven. It's available only with a PDK automatic 7-speed transmission, because for this motor, which is essentially a 911 or a Porsche GT3 motor, they don't have a transmission that fits the Boxster, a manual transmission that fits the Boxster that can handle the torque output of this motor. So PDK it is, which is fine. I mean, it's incredibly fast, quick shifting. It sounds awesome, these little throttle blip when you downshift. And of course, PDK is better on the track, but Porsche has been very specific. This is not really a track car. It's Cayman GT4 RS cousin is a track car, very much so. But this one is more of a road car. They've softened the suspension a little bit. They've done a couple other tweaks to the steering as well, just electronic tweaks, to give it a little more ease of use around town. One thing they haven't made any easier is the top, though, which I've left in place here because the weather outside isn't great and the audio isn't great if it's down, is quite the complex affair. Putting that thing up takes a whole heck of a lot of effort. It takes some effort, takes some learning too, but the point is, you're never supposed to put the top on anyway. This is a roadster. That's what it's meant to be. That's how it's meant to stay. And the only time you're going to put the top up is, well, if you really think it's going to be raining. Otherwise, top stays at home. And not to mention, if you keep the top bits at home, there's actually 2 different parts to the top, the hood and a little wind deflector back there. You save weight as well. Speaking of weight, this one weighs 1,410 kilos, which is not a lot. And when you really get on it, there's no inertia. It's a naturally aspirated engine, as I said before, so no need for a turbo to spool up, nothing like that. Just hit the throttle, drop a cog, and let her rip. It is so much fun to drive this thing. It sounds spectacular. It feels incredible. The steering is telepathic. I mean, Porsche, all their cars steer well. This is like another level. Just how weighted it is, the feel you get through it, all that kind of stuff is top drawer. It is so much fun. There aren't any real drive modes to speak of either. I mean, you can adjust the suspension individually, the traction control, as well as the PDK, the transmission, and the exhaust, as I mentioned before. But otherwise, it's just kind of firm. It's firm all the time, but they have softened it to make it a little easier around town. They've given a little more bandwidth in those adaptive dampers to allow you a little more comfort on the everyday. So that's good. No drive mode still here. No eco mode, that's for sure. And yes, 0 to 60 in 3.4 seconds, 0 to 200 kilometers an hour in 10.9 seconds. These are not numbers for the faint of heart. RPM feels like, if you were wondering, or sounds like, if you were wondering, feels great, by the way. But that transmission is so lickety split, it almost makes me forget about the fact there's no manual transmission option. I do think that would be more fun, a manual transmission, but this is pretty darn good, and just how quick it is truly mind-boggling. This thing puts on speed in, no time at all. It is just so fun. There is such a pleasure of driving a naturally aspirated engine. Speaking of that engine, this 2024 Spyder RS is the last version we're going to get of the 718 Boxster with a gas engine. It's going to go fully electric after this, so this is going to be a collector's item, which is good because it's not inexpensive to get. It costs just under $190,000 at base to get this car. And, when you add stuff like the Weissach package, which adds all sorts of stuff like carbon fiber bits on the exterior and interior, gives you some special stitching, all that kind of stuff, makes it even more special. That's like around 14 grand American to put on, which, so if you do the math this day and age, you're looking at about $97,000 Canadian just for that package. No, not quite, but call it about 17 or 18,000 just for that package, bringing this to over $200,000. But rest assured, if you get one of these, because it's going to be one of the last gas-powered Boxsters, or because it is the last gas-powered Boxster, you're not going to lose any money on at all. It's going to just do nothing but increase in value as we go on here. So buying a vehicle as an investment, that's not something I would recommend one does as a rule, but a vehicle like this, well, that's a bit of a different story. Man, what a fun car. It's not perfect. I mean, the infotainment system is still quite old in this, but you do have Apple CarPlay if you want it. But you do have 3 gauges here in the cluster, 2 of which are analog, 1 of which is digitized. The key still goes on the left-hand side, Le Mans style, which is great. You got the Racetex kind of suede, or Racetex suede here, which is a nice microfiber and apparently is more resistant to wear than the Alcantara we used to have with these vehicles, so that's nice as well. And the cup holders suck, but let's be honest, you're not buying a car like this and you have a cup holder. I think the cup holder was only installed because the Porsche of the USA was like, yes, we need cup holders, so can you put some in? So they kind of just tacked them on there, but forget all that. If you want a driver's car, naturally aspirated power, instantaneous acceleration, fantastically quick transmission, this is the car for you. It doesn't get much better than this on the market right now. If you want a track car, you go for the GT4 Cayman. But if you want a car that's incredibly fast on a B road, looks spectacular, and is a whole heck of a lot of fun to drive, then this is the one for you. This is a spectacular car that is going to go down in history, I think, as one of the best ever. One of the best sports cars we've seen, definitely in the modern era, definitely in recent memory. My goodness, what a car. I have so much fun in this thing, even with a complicated roof, the crappy cup holders. You can keep all that. Give me this powertrain, give me this seating position, give me this performance, and I'm happy to forgo all of that other stuff. What a car. thank you for tuning into this quick review of the 2024 Porsche 718 Boxster RS Spyder. Hope you enjoyed it. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please do. If not, no hard feelings, of course. You can follow me on Twitter at Dan the Wheelman and on Instagram at Dan the Wheelman as well. So thanks again for tuning in. And until next time, this is Dan Heyman signing off from Germany.